Good morning. I start the class today, please take a look at this text, a sample text, and then once we read it, I will tell you what we are supposed to do. Kindly pay attention to the highlighted words. Let us read. Many concerns have been raised over the inadequate testing of the effects of genetic engineering on humans and the environment. Almost all GE foods contain antibiotic resistance marker genes, unlike chemical and nuclear contamination, which can at least be contained. Genetic pollution cannot be isolated and separated from the environment in which it is spreading. These highlighted words, inadequate, antibiotic, unlike, what categories or what category do they come under? We are talking about prefix. Perhaps we have touched upon this element of the English language earlier, but let us consider it today in greater detail. I am very sure that even in Indian languages, we have prefixes as part of our grammar. I can give you example from Hindi language itself. Let us consider samanya, that is ordinary, and asamanya, you add an a in front or before the word and it becomes extraordinary. So, we do have examples of prefixes in our languages as well. You may have to consider more if you want, if you are interested in this area, a wonderful area for research. So, prefixes. In the English language, prefixes as well as suffixes. In the earlier sentences, in the earlier slide that we have just seen, you may have come across the word contamination. Now, the root word is contaminate and it turns into noun with the addition of ion, that is shun or tion. Okay, so, you turn the category, you change the category of a word from a verb contaminate to contamination, all right. So, prefixes and suffixes, these are the words that cannot stand by their own. Let us say tion, what does it mean? Nothing. Un, a prefix, tion, a suffix, ate, another suffix. They do not stand alone, they do not mean anything by themselves. So, you cannot write them separately. They always have to come along or be attached along with the root word. Today, we are going to consider how to identify root words also. It is not that simple, it is not that easy. Many students, the non-native speaker students, they do make errors, severe errors in the way they form or they use word formation, especially in the written communication and also in oral communication. So, again I go back to my previous statement, suffixes, prefixes, they do not stand alone to make a word, but can be added, prefix at the beginning, suffix at the end to make a different word. Let me give you some examples that you may find of some use. I am giving examples of prefixes. Let us say agro, agro, ambi, mb. Let me write it. So, I am talking prefixes, agro, mb, im, in, dis, macro, micro. So, these are specialized fields of enquiry, right. Chrono, by, try, contra, ante, ante. What do these mean? What do these prefixes mean? By themselves they make very little sense, but you add agro and you get agro industry. You have ambi, you have ambidextrous, ambivalent, something that suggests duality. You have anti is room, anterome, yeah, anti means something before, that occurs before. Bi, something that occurs twice, bilingual, so someone who can speak two languages, bi-monthly, biannual, duration, frequency. Chrono generally suggests time, so chronometer, chronology, and then you have contra is against, contrary we say, so contraindicator. So, this is the way we use. Now, here I am going to give you an exercise. Please make 2 words with the following prefixes, and here is your list. Please look at the slide. Electro, mid, intra, infra, macro, over, poly, petro. Please work in pairs and come up with at least 2 words, and using the following and using these prefixes, you may please consider your dictionary if necessary. Now, look at this sample text. Here I am giving you example of a suffix or of a few suffixes. Read the text with me. Melinda Gates notes that paid parental leave has been linked to higher birth weights and lower rates of infant mortality, long-term emotional health of both parents and children, and greater engagement from fathers and professional opportunity for mothers. Look at the highlighted words. Perhaps there are more than the highlighted words, words that can go as suffixes, but here let us look at some of the words highlighted: parental, higher, mortality, emotional, engagement, professional. Where do you think are the suffixes in these words? So, let us consider one by one. Parent, parental, it becomes an adjective. Look at the word noun, the leave right after it, which is a noun. So, parental leave qualifies the noun leave. Higher birth weights. So, high and add an er and turn it into a degree of comparison. We have already done comparative adjectives. Look at infant mortality. Now, this is your noun, mortal, mortality. Long term emotional health, again an adjective, emotion and health, emotion and L. So, AL becomes your suffix. Greater engagement, engage and MENT, ment is another very commonly used suffix, and last professional opportunity, professional, profession, and with an AL it turns into an adjective. Opportunity also, you have the opportunity by itself is a noun, you can convert it into an adjective, opportune. So, opportune moment, we may discuss this thing at some opportune moment. So, opportunity is your noun, opportune is your adjective. Now, look at these examples, look, and also their meanings. Able, ability, these are commonly used suffixes. An example, noticeable, spelling is please note the spelling, yes. So, here you have to note the spelling of noticeable, it is not Noticable, but it is Notceable. If you want to say noticable, then you have to eliminate E, but the pronunciation is definitely not noticable, it is noticeable. So, therefore, E remains. Look at the other suffix ALIA. This means items of interest like memorabilia. ANCE or ENCE, you have confidence, assistance. ATIV, that is doing something, demonstrative, illustrative. You have IZE, ISE, that means to make, to become, nationalize or privatize. At this moment, let me also drive your attention to the distinction between British and American spellings. IZE is American, ISE is British. The rule is that if you want to use American grammar, American English, then please be consistent about it. Do not switch between American and British way of spelling. It is always important to consult your teacher, your faculty, your supervisor while writing your dissertations, that which spelling you should use. See, in email writing or in more informal and semi-formal kinds of writing, you can use American English and its variants. However, it is always advisable to check with your supervisor, with your professor, what kinds of English or what variety of English would he or she prefer. Look at this slide, and this is an exercise for you. Make two words using the following suffixes: ATOR, ISM, IZE, CRAT, ER, OLOGY, ORY, ship, SHIP, WISE and Y. So, this is what I want you to do, and again as usual you may work in pairs and consult your dictionary. Make at least two words using these suffixes. So, we have just seen how there are and so many words that can be made using prefixes and suffixes. Now, consider, let me move on to something else now. So, let us consider a word such as amaze, AMAZE. Amaze. This is a verb. You amaze me. This was one invention of the 21st century that truly amazed me. Amazing is an adjective. You have added ing. This was an amazing invention. Now, you are using it as an adjective. Amazingly, what is it? Ly form, so it is your adverb. And she stared at the gadget in amazement, in sheer amazement. Amazement could be of shock value as well. You can be so pleased or so thrilled, or you can be so put off by something that you are amazed. So, amazed can work either way. An amazement is a noun. So, she looked at something in amazement. This is the way we construct words, we form words. So, please look at the slide given here, word formation. Now, I will guide you how to do this. Please look at the slide. Differ is a verb. I want you to do noun, adjective and adverb for it. Accuse is a verb. Please do noun, adjective, adverb for it. Compete is a verb and you have to fill in for noun, adjective and adverb form of it. Curious is an adjective, write adverbs, noun and verb for it. Human is a noun, write adjective, adverb and verb for it. Method is a noun, write verb, adjective and adverb for it. Presume is a verb, write noun, adjective and adverb for it. I will give you 2 minutes to complete this exercise. and then we will discuss the answers. So, let us discuss the answers. Differ, noun is difference, adjective different, differently. Accuse verb, accusation noun, accusatory remark, remember accusingly is adverb. Compete, competition, competitive, see look at your IVE form, and competitively. Curious, curiously, it has no noun form and no verb form. So, what is the rule here? Every word cannot be converted into whatever we wish it to. So, there are certain rules and we have to abide by those. Humanize verb, human noun, humanitarian and humanly adverb. Method, there is no verb for it. Methodical, adjective, methodically is your adverb. Presume, presumption, presumptive. Please look at the category and the word presumptive, the spelling of this word, presumably is the adverb. Now, look at this exercise, word formation. I would like you to find nouns, adverbs, adjectives and of course, noun, verbs, adverbs and adjectives for these words. You may consult your dictionary please and work in pairs if you think necessary. Allergy, argue, assume, broad, drama, electric, idea, grow, science, solve. Not as easy as it appears, it will take some effort and some dictionary skills on your part to identify the various forms of these words. Now, let us look at this paragraph or passage. The perfume industry is facing a major problem. Maintaining constant levels of quality is necessary, but it is increasingly difficult to obtain a regular supply of all the necessary natural ingredients. Essential oils cannot be synthesized in the laboratory, but supplies are dwindling and need to be protected, in some cases by the perfume industry itself. I have highlighted the first noun for you, that is industry. My question to you is identify all the nouns here and make various words, okay, other categories of words using the same nouns. This is your exercise. I will repeat, I have marked the noun for you, the first sentence, that is industry. I would like you to identify all the nouns in this passage, it is a very short passage, and please use different words or forms of words for those nouns. Let us move on. This is another exercise for you. In the brackets there are certain words given, you have to write the proper or the appropriate form of these words. Spider-Man, let us read the passage. Let us look at the passage. Spider-Man is dash, argue, the most popular dash cinema superhero since Superman. In most successful movie franchises, it's hard for the sequels to match the original, and in the case of superhero action movies, the cohesive of plot and dialogue tend to diminish in favor of ever more spectacle and probable action sequences and special effects. Spider-Man 3 is no exception to this phenomenon. However, that said, it's still really fun to watch and the CG sequences are truly amazing. Now, when analyzing the physics in a superhero fantasy, obviously you have to suspend dash belief and accept the basic and impossible premise of the movie if you want to have any fun. Take a minute and then we will solve the exercise. Now, let us consider the exercise all over again. Let us look at the slide. Spider-Man is arguably the most popular cinematic. Please consider, now it is not cinema hero, it is cinematic hero. We always use the word cinematic experience. So, cinematic adjective. It is hard, I have skipped a little, it is hard for the sequels to match the original, and in the case of superhero action movies, the cohesiveness of plot and dialogue tend to diminish in favor of ever more. And see, look at the next word. These are there. We have two. We have an adjective here, improbable, defining action, adding to action sequences. So, it has to be an adjective again. So, it is not spectacle action sequences, but spectacular action sequences. So, this is the logic that you apply here. Spider-Man 3 is no exception to this phenomenon. However, that said, it is really still really fun to watch, and the CG sequences are truly amazing. Now, when analyzing the physics in a superhero fantasy, obviously you have to suspend, and what do you can't suspend belief, you are suspending disbelief. I do not believe that all these things are can happen or are possible. So, willing suspension of disbelief, this is a literary term. This is such a popular literary term that it has become a part of the idiom and lexicon of the English language. So, willing suspension of, so you have to suspend your disbelief. So, there is a prefix here, and accept the basic and impossible premise of the movie if you want to have any fun. If you do not want to have fun, you are not going to suspend disbelief, but if you want to have fun, you have to go with the flow. Let us look at this exercise now, and the question is finding the root word. 3 sentences for you. First sentence about the Island of Dr. Moreau is H.G. Wells's most Darwinian book and owes most of its inspiration to the theory of evolution. Second, and these two sentences 2nd and 3, they are taken from The Time Machine, again by H.G. Wells, one of the greatest writers of science fiction genre. At one time it had for a little while glowed more brilliantly again, but it speedily reverted to its sullen red heat. Its back was corrugated and ornamented with ungainly bosses, and a greenish incrustation blotched it here and there. So, let us look at the first sentence, Darwinian. Now, the root word is Darwin, it comes from Darwin. Darwin is a proper noun, adjective Darwinian book. Every name of every author cannot be changed into an adjective. A writer has to be of such great magnitude and such great importance that we can change his style and his thoughts, and we can make an adjective out of that. So, Darwin, Darwinian, that is an honor we give him. Dickens, Charles Dickens, Dickensian, but we do not, we cannot take everyone who writes a novel and turn it into an adjectival word. Owes most of his inspiration, inspire is the basic word. Inspiring is an adjective, inspiration is a noun. Theory of evolution, evolve is your verb, evolution is your noun. And likewise, please solve this exercise. Speedily, what could be the answer? Speedily is obviously an adverb. Speed is your basic root word. Ornamented is used as a verb here. Ornament is a noun and the basic and root word. Greenish is a color, green is a color, green can be used as a noun, and a green dress It can be used as an adjective. Greenish, ISH, it is a noun here. Or if you want in a greenish incrustation, yes, so a noun or an adjective. Okay, so it can be used in different places, in different situations as various categories. Now, here is an exercise. You use turn these words into their antonyms using prefixes. Active, believe, order, interested, personal, specified, just, learn, polite, quiet. I will give you one example. You write in as a prefix and it turns into inactive. So, diametrically opposite of active, inactive, using just a little prefix in. So, use in as a prefix, and inactive, from active it becomes inactive. So, the answers are active, inactive, believe, disbelieve, order, disorder, interested, uninterested. There is also a word called disinterested. It is again a very interesting word, and you have to consider the difference between disinterested and uninterested. You have personal, impersonal, specified, unspecified, just, unjust, learn, unlearn, polite, impolite, quiet, disquiet. And here is a useful slide for you. Please look at the slide for references. If you want to learn more about references, these are your go-to links, extremely useful websites. Before we wind up, I want you to do some practice in speaking. Now, your homework is, and this is something that you have to do on your own. I want you to talk about what cities are famous in our country and what makes them famous, or what are those qualities that make them famous. What cities are famous, or what are the famous cities in our country, and what are the factors that make them famous. This is your pre-speaking discussion, and your main activity is describe a city that you enjoyed visiting. You should be able to talk about where is the city, what is so unique about this city, and what are the facilities available for the tourists in this city. So, you have to do some pre-discussion, and then you have to talk about a specific city that you enjoyed visiting. This is something that I would like you to discuss and practice speaking. So, thank you very much. We will meet soon for our next class.